People ask Reddit. What's that one embarrassing moment that keeps coming back to haunt you? When I was in grade 8 we had to give a presentation on a Greek god. I chose to do my project on Zeus. However, I was nervous and for some reason referred to him as Zesus, Jesus with a Z. The presentation was like 8 minutes long and I said it wrong countless times. It wasn't until I finished the presentation a kid asked, "You do know it's pronounced Zeus, right?" Jesus Christ, I'm dead. Got a good laugh, great story. Thank you. If your nickname isn't Zeus, the kids in your class are too kind. Here in Scotland, if you did that, fine, you're called Zeus now until you die. My mom threw me a graduation party. She had the party in the community room of the local rescue squad and had a table full of food. No one came. Most of the people she invited were fellow graduates, so they had their own thing going on. We gave the food to the rescue squad people. I mostly felt horrible for my mom. Just writing this story made me feel like shit, and it has been 25 years since this happened. I feel this. Not graduation, but my 18th birthday party. My parents went all out, made loads of food, bought loads of booze, and one person showed. And my parents didn't exactly have the money to go to waste on all of that. I felt terrible for them as well as for myself. I ducking feel that one. No one showed up to what was supposed to be my birthday party. Then when I went out later that night, literally no one, of maybe the 50 people I saw that night that I knew, even remembered it was my birthday. First and only person to wish me happy birthday that year was a stripper at 4 a.m. the next morning, when she asked why I looked unhappy. It did get better though. Now I have a great group of friends who remember and actually care. That was my worst fear when throwing my 4-year-old's first birthday party. The relief when the first few peoples came. I'm sorry that happened to you. Went to the urinal to take a piss before a C-level meeting and tried to squeeze out a fart and shit myself. I had to clean up in a stall and call in sick from the bathroom. I exited the building out a backfire exit. I cannot stop laughing as I read this. There is a 100% chance I will think of this story and laugh the next time I use a urinal. Please be careful. Violently shits himself. Did you know that when you say poop, your mouth makes the same shape your butthole would? The same is true of explosive diarrhea. Freezing up in the middle of a best man speech. My brain just went completely blank. When I gave the groom's speech at my own wedding, I had a close call of that sort. I'd run the short speech through my head countless times, but the instant I stood in front of the mic my mind went completely blank. And I mean completely, the sort of brain vacuum where a fly can enter one ear, do a lap of honor and exit triumphantly from the other ear without anything slowing it down. It felt like I stared at the crowd for an endless time before the first words of my speech came to me. Once I got started, everything flowed as normal and the speech went well. To the audience, apparently, it felt like the usual dramatic pause/gathering of thoughts before a speech, so no one noticed anything weird. But to me it was an endless eternity of social terror. I was at the airport one time and during the security check-in, one of the TSA people stuck his hand out in front of me. I proceeded to give him a high five thinking he's trying to be friendly, only to realize that he meant for me to wait in line. Feeling red-faced thinking about it right now. I once tried to shake a random girl's hand who was trying to hold the elevator door open for me. Got called out on it by another girl who witnessed it and spent the rest of the elevator ride very embarrassed. Edit, since everyone loved this, I have a few other awkward stories I posted in this thread. So yeah, this elevator handshake thing was unfortunately not an isolated incident. One time when I was in college, the showers on my male-only dorm floor, 4th, weren't working, so I had to walk down to the 2nd floor to shower, because each floor alternated between a boys' and girls' floor. Well, when I was done showering I walked back to my room and opened my door, only things didn't look quite right. The beds were arranged differently, the decorations were different. Then I looked to my right, and there's a very shocked-looking girl sitting in bed reading a book. I didn't go up enough floors. I said shit sorry and closed the door and rushed back to my room. Never saw her again. One time when I was in a college class I was wearing a pullover sweatshirt, and I got hot and wanted to take it off. I was at the top of an auditorium-style classroom. I stood up and pulled it off, but my practically entire shirt ended up coming off with it. My professor had been facing the board and turned around right as I basically had my shirt off and raised above my head, struggling to get out of the pullover. Professor got startled and yelped a bit, said he didn't know what I was doing. Whole class laughed. Told a guy I had met his son, it was his younger brother I had met. Felt like an asshole. Unbuckled my belt at the movies because I was uncomfortable. Was with my girlfriend. Forgot it was unbuckled when I stood up, so while standing I buckled it. When I looked up, an older couple was giving us bad looks. I don't remember what film it was, hoping it wasn't some Pixar movie or something. I always do the thanks you too thing at the movies when the attendant takes my ticket and tells me to enjoy the show. So I was interviewing for a job in the bio industry early on in my career, and it was a panel interview with about 10 people. They asked me what would set me apart from other candidates, so I went into the normal spiel about being a fast learner and easily cross-training in multiple areas. As soon as I said that, one of the guys laughed and a few jaws dropped, and I quickly realized that instead of saying cross-training, I said cross-dressing. What sets me apart from other candidates? Cross-dressing. I did not get the job. This sounds like a Cards Against Humanity card, Lamau. You've just reminded me of the time that I said twerk instead of tweak, as in to adjust, during an interview. Also did not get the job. TBH, not our fault. A panel of 10 is a little extreme and will put a lot of pressure on someone. My middle school did a program where a bunch of Japanese students came to visit our school for a couple weeks. I was assigned as a buddy to show someone around and stuff, and at the end of their visit here, they all took a trip to NYC. Only a few of the American students came along, but I was among them. The Japanese teachers wanted to be inclusive, so they took the mic that the bus driver uses to make announcements and kind of like awkwardly interviewed each of us in broken English, though the students didn't seem all that interested. When it was my turn, I got the typical "what do you like to do?" which I tried to shut down quickly with a simple "oh, I'm in choir, I like to sing sometimes." "Oh, why don't you sing for us?" And suddenly, the mic is in my hand. I really am not one for singing solos, especially in front of a bus full of students who probably don't know what the fuck is going on. I guess the teacher picked up on this, so she encouraged me to sing a Christmas song, because those are the only songs that the kids would be able to sing along to in English. So I'm thinking, okay, it won't be too bad if they all join in, right? So I start. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Silence. I painfully sing the entire song, a cappella, completely solo, all eyes on me. Finally, the pain ends and I crumble into my seat as awkward, polite applause ensues. But this wasn't enough for the teacher. She wanted this to be a participatory event. And she didn't care who had to suffer in order to make that happen. So what does she do? Okay, try again, but this time everyone sing along. I pray for it to be a dream, but somehow, the mic is in my hand yet again, her expecting eyes upon me. At this point, all dignity is lost, so I figure why not. Again, I start the song. And again, I sing it completely alone. Duck my life. My God, this is a nightmare. You poor wee thing. That just might be the best use of superscript letters I ever saw on Reddit. Made me laugh out loud, and now my colleagues are giving me weird looks. I can't stop laughing. The sheer embarrassment. Thank you for listening to another B-Town Reddit Stories episode. Hit the subscribe button and check out our channel for more stories. Let us know your opinion about this topic in the comments.